The lone swordsman and the famous detective starts off with a young Yukichi Fukuzawa working as a bodyguard and being haunted by the people he killed during an assassination purge. He gets a phone call from someone asking him to join them, but he declares that he will never work with another person again. He comes across a crime scene and recognizes the victim. He decides to give his condolences and sees her secretary, who is busy investigating, as it seems that the killer wanted to destroy some documents or steal them. Fukuzawa volunteers to help, but the secretary shares that they already have the killer, who happens to be Baby Oda. Fukuzawa has heard of Sukuna Sakoda as the young and infamous assassin and wonders how he was caught. Before he can further look into it, a stranger walks in demanding a certificate for a job that he did. The mystery man turns out to be 14-year-old Adagawa Ranpo, who comes and demands a certificate promised to him by the victim. He banters with the secretary and uses the wind to find what he was looking for, while deducing at the same time that the secretary is the killer and he hired Oda to be a scapegoat. On hearing that he is being detained for a murder he didn't commit, Oda tries to escape. Fukuzawa tries to stop him, but Oda uses his ability to bypass him and kill the secretary as retribution. Fukuzawa is furious and leaves as he can't believe the quick turn of events. Ranpo tags along with him to a restaurant. He interrogates Ranpo, who tells him how he realized the secretary was the killer. He also tells Fukuzawa about dropping out of the police academy and how he has been solving crimes on his own. Fukuzawa tries to leave and simply gives him his card and tells him to call him if he is ever in danger. Ranpo looks like he is disappointed, but ends up calling him and telling him that he needs help as he has no job and no home. Fukuzawa decides to let him come with him to his next assignment and tells him he can get him a job there. They go to the theater where he is supposed to catch the killer V, who wants to kill an actor. The owner pretends to consider Ranpo as part of the staff and he is annoyed as she is lying. He analyzes her and tells Fukuzawa that she doesn't trust him or the police. Fukuzawa doesn't care and continues with his job, which Ranpo finds confusing. They interview the actor Murakami, who is passionate about his acting and doesn't care that he is being targeted. The other actors think Murakami is the target because he is a womanizer. However, no one, including the police, takes the threat seriously. Ranpo tells Fukuzawa that it is not a threat but a declaration by V that the murder will happen and that he knew from the beginning. Fukuzawa thinks he has the ability to see the truth immediately. He decides to let Ranpo stay with him if he can deduce him. Ranpo accurately guesses that Fukuzawa is in his 30s, a martial artist, single, right-handed and works alone, all by looking at him. He also guesses that Fukuzawa uses a sword but doesn't carry it because of the guilt he felt for all the killings at the assassination purge. Fukuzawa is shocked that Ranpo knows this and is confident that he has an ability. He asks him to work with him on the theater case, and if it goes well, he will get him a new job. The day is a dream, the night is reality. Starts off with a play about angels and ability users. Fukuzawa notices someone suspicious with a cane in the audience, while Ranpo is annoyed that he is the only one who seems to see the obvious, as he easily points out that the murderer is on stage. Following Ranpo's breakdown, Fukuzawa takes him out during intermission and tells him about the time he was the samurai known as King's Blade that worked for the government. He tells Ranpo that no one could decipher this except him, and this is because he has a special power, aka an ability. Fukuzawa tells Ranpo that he will teach him to control his ability and activate it only through glasses. Ranpo is confused and scared, but Fukuzawa tells him that the rest of the world does not hate him but that they are like babies and is up to him to take care of them as they cannot see what he sees. Ranpo is happy that nothing is wrong with him and he goes back to his cheerful self as he resumes solving the case and asks Fukuzawa to take care of the audience while he disappears. The world goes from grayscale to color as Ranpo regains his self-confidence. The play resumes, and in the middle of a monologue, Murakami, the actor, is killed. But Fukuzawa cannot find a murder weapon and believes that an ability user was the murderer. When the police come in, they notice that the suspicious man with a cane has disappeared. The theater owner pulls Fukuzawa aside and tells him that Ranpo told her that there are two culprits. Everyone goes back to their seats and Ranpo appears on stage to give a dramatic speech. He tells everyone that it is a play about reversals, and reveals the suspicious man as the victim as he is hidden and tied up. Ranpo claims that the murder never happened and Murakami stands up. Murakami and the scriptwriter faked his murder as he wanted to create the greatest performance with a real and genuine death. Ranpo tells him that his stunt did not impress his audience but scared them. Murakami is disappointed. Fukuzawa meets up with Ranpo, who is impressed with his glasses. The police ask them to come to the station to give their statements, but Ranpo flexes that he has nothing to say as he used his ability. An exasperated Fukuzawa finally tells him that he didn't use any ability but simply observed and deduced the truth. Ranpo doesn't believe him and he banters with the police. While he goes with the police to the station, Fukuzawa asks Murakami who the bound man was. Murakami tells him that the writer, Kurahashi, told him that the man was important for the whole scheme and that he barely comes outside. At that moment, a staff member comes running and informs that the writer is dead in a locked room with a blade and that there was no struggle. Meanwhile, in the police car, Ranpo asks the driver how long it will take for them to reach the station. The driver gives a sinister smile and tells him they will be there soon. Secret of the detective agency's establishment starts off with Officer Mitamura driving Ranpo. The policeman goads him and Ranpo realizes that they are not going to the police station. He doesn't believe in Ranpo's ability and the young detective suggests a game. If he can answer all of Mitamura's questions, he wins, which he does easily as he uncovers their motives, that the man with the cane was the main goal and Murakami and the scriptwriter were pawns. At the theater, Fukuzawa is worried as no one can get in touch with Ranpo. He too realizes that Murakami and the scriptwriter were pawns. He comes across his card that he had given Ranpo, who had left it on purpose. Ranpo writes that Mitamura is the culprit and to look for the cane. Fukuzawa finds the kidnapped man's cane and finds a device hidden inside and calls a mysterious man for help. At an abandoned building, Mitamura tells Ranpo that the leaders of their organization are angry that Ranpo foiled their plan. He gives him two choices. Either he can torture him or Ranpo can join their organization. Fukuzawa visits Oda, who is in prison, and shows him the device. He tells him that the device is used by organizations who hire ability users and if Oda knows them. Oda refuses to tell him about V but says that they have the warped idea that they are meting out justice by killing wayward ability users, and Fukuzawa is worried. He strikes a bargain with Oda to testify that he is not the killer if he helps him. Oda agrees to help even though he can easily escape prison and all he wants in return is curry since the prison food is bad. Meanwhile, Ranpo is his sarcastic self as he rejects Mitamura's offer. The officer is irritated and threatens him with his gun. He ends up revealing that V either has ability users working for them or exterminates them. However, at that moment, Fukuzawa barges in and disarms all the guards. Ranpo is excited at the whole ordeal, but Fukuzawa stops him and slaps him. He is furious that Ranpo is taking the kidnapping lightheartedly and tells him never to act recklessly even if he knew Fukuzawa would save him. Ranpo tears up and apologizes. He hugs him and Fukuzawa sighs. The next day, they see that V has killed Mitamura and covered it up. At that moment, Fyodor watches them from afar and says it's not V but the Roman number 5. But he hides before Fukuzawa spots him. In the prison, Oda is suspicious about the curry that Fukuzawa sent him but he likes it. In an epilogue which happens a year later, Ranpo and Fukuzawa are called in by the man with the cane. He thanks them for saving him and Ranpo realizes that the man let himself caught to lure out the leader. Fukuzawa promises to help him catch the leader. In return, they want a permit to launch a special detective agency for ability users as they cannot openly use their powers in public. He agrees and it is revealed that he is Soseki Natsume, the same man who later mentored Fukuzawa and Mori. While the next episodes will take us back to the present time, it does look like we will be seeing more of V as it seems that they are linked to Fyodor, the big bad baddie of Season 3. But rejoice! This also means that we will finally get all of our faves back